Hello everybody, my name is 711 and welcome to the playoffs of the Irish Emerald Discord League Season 3. This week we are up against Hammer, who hammered me in the regular season 5-0. And rightly so, because he was able to exploit my weakness, being able to spam grass and bug moves, especially with Grass Silvally. And then his Scarf Mienshao put in a lot of work, and he has an excellent special wall being the Aromatisse. And then, you know, other good mons to go along with that. So, I'm gonna try to beat him, or at least do better than last time. So, this week I am bringing Sap Sipper Miltank, so that he cannot spam grass moves against me. I am bringing a Choice Scarf, what do you call that thing? Claydol, Landmine, in the hopes that it can outspeed some things, and in the hopes that it will do more in this battle than last time. And I am bringing Dust Lycanroc this time around. I did not bring it the first time, mostly because of Gligar and Metagross, because of Metagross's Bullet Punch. Well, I have the Babiri Berry, so that I can live any Steel-type move and go for the Drill Run. And just in case the Drill Run does not kill Metagross, I have Sucker Punch to be faster than Metagross's Bullet Punch. But none of that came, so that was a right shame, for sure. We have Heliolisk, who can take on the Araquanid to an extent. Aside from Leech Life and Toxic, you know, it's able to live a water move with Dry Skin, and Toxic is just chip. I am bringing Scarf Winona this week, mostly to be faster than Scarf Mienshao, which came again, this time. And without further ado, let's get into this battle. So last time he did lead with Scarf Mienshao, and so I led with my Scarf Swallow, but this time he leads with the Araquanid, and I start with Winona. I decided I'll just attack, because because I could very much likely force him out into something like Gligar, or maybe the Nidoqueen. And if this thing does stay in, then it takes a big hit, and maybe I can get a flinch. Or we could set webs. But nope, Winona goes straight down to the liquidation. So that was a misprediction on my part, and that makes Mienshao a much bigger threat. So here's Solar Panel, and I click Hyper Voice just in case the Gligar wanted to come in. I get some chip damage and then go for Surf or something. Here's a Thunderbolt. I see that Thunderbolt is not doing half, and we see a Moonblast. So this Aromatisse is definitely doing a lot of work. So what I do is I keep spamming Thunderbolt just to force Aromatisse to show off its moveset. I just wanted to make sure, you know, that I'm up against a protecting, wishing Aromatisse. Just to make sure it wasn't Trick Room, just to make sure, just so I could see more of its moves. So here's another wish, and I said, okay, I'm gonna switch out now, and I go into Beowulf because Beowulf has the Iron Head. Stupid me. Here's another Moonblast. And I forgot that this thing is still a 2-hit KO, despite that Aromatisse is not the strongest Pokemon. It is Stab. It's Stab and a high base power move. So I decide to Toxic it here, and I miss the Toxic. So things are going swell for me right now. Absolutely swell. And so I switch back into Solar Panel, and here's a Toxic. So like I said before, Solar Panel comes in on Araquanid for the most part. And so I'm able to go for another Thunderbolt here, and as you can see, it is still not doing much to this Aromatisse. This Aromatisse is incredibly annoying for me. And so I go into Mega Love Disc here, so that I can hopefully pivot into Beowulf. But I do Toxic here, and so that is helping some, I hope. And so it gets all its health back from the Wish, and there is Toxic damage. So I set up a Wish of my own, as there's a Heal Bell. Okay, so that means that we've seen its full moveset now. We've seen Heal Bell, Wish, Protect, and Moonblast. So I go into Solar Panel right now, and again, I mispredict. There's a Moonblast, down goes Solar Panel. So that's annoying, but that does give me a free switch in the Beowulf. I predict that Hammer would go for Protect in order to Scout if I have the Iron Head, and so I do not click Iron Head. I click Drill Run. And now I go for Iron Head. If I got a crit, then that would have killed. And I was a little shocked at the end of the day that he let me, or that he stayed in. I thought for sure he would switch, because if Beowulf were to drop, then Aromatisse literally 1v1s the rest of my team. He has a Gligar to switch into Beowulf, and then he can go for Earthquake or Knockoff. So I don't know why he stayed in. I did not get the crit, I did not get the 30% chance to flinch, and down goes Beowulf. So most of my offense is gone now. Here is Landmine. I go for Earth Power just because it's stab, and it does some damage, but not nearly as much as I'd like, especially with the Leftovers recovery. So I go into Mega Love Disc here, the Alomomola, and there's a Toxic. So finally, there's a Toxic for the Spoderman, or, you know, from Spoderman. I click Scald here, and I don't really remember why I did that, but there's a Leech Life. Got a little bit of health back, but I do have the Rocky Helmet for the Spoderman. And so, I do finally land a Toxic. It would have been nice if I landed a Toxic earlier. So, I'm going to switch here, I believe, because Mega Love Disc is getting rather low. And I go into Whitney, as we see a Leech Life, which is fine. Whitney is max defensive with the the Choppleberry. This Whitney is carrying Milk Drink and Thunder Wave. Milk Drink, Thunder Wave, Earthquake, and Ice Punch. In hindsight, I probably could have taken off Earthquake for Body Slam, and I would have been in a better position there. So there's a Liquidation. Onto Mega Love Disc. Spoderman is free to click Liquidation because Heliolisk is long gone now. And the Toxic does knock out the Araquanid, so one Pokemon is gone. And now we have my dedicated switch-in to Arc, the Silvally, Grass Silvally, just like before. And this seems to be the same set as before, and so now this is my chance. There's a multi-attack, I live, and I get the Thunder Wave, Arc, and so no more Flame Charge shenanigans. And we see Ice Punch is still at +1, still not a 2-hit KO because Silvally is rather bulky. So now we go into Notice Me. There's an Ice Punch, and it does not freeze. There's a Knockoff, knocking off a Choppleberry, and I get a Thunder Wave on Mienshao. So now his two fastest Pokemon, naturally fastest Pokemon, are paralyzed. And so I'm feeling a little better now. Miltank is really keeping me in this game, even though it's a 5-3 battle. So, Mega Love Disc is in, there's a Knockoff, knocking off the Rocky Helmet from Mega Love Disc, and I have to throw up a Wish. I cannot just attack because Mega Love Disc is just so low right now. So there's a Scald, no burn. It would have been really nice to have a Scald burn on the Gligar. So here's a Roost here, and I think I Wish. Yeah, I Wish. And unfortunately, I do just have to play defensive here. Fortunately, Gligar has immunity, so it cannot be paralyzed or Toxic. And so he's free to click Toxic here. And so Whitney is Toxic. And so that's very annoying. I wish I had Heal Bell on something. So he's going to sack off Silvally here. And so even if Hammer does win this battle, I'm not going to lose to a Silvally sweep. So 4 Pokemon down. Notice Me is in. And I switch here. And there's a full paralysis. Okay, and so I click Ice Beam, and that does solid damage, 30%. Which is actually pretty close to what Regenerator is, so he switches and goes into Aeromat. And so this is my chance here. This Ice Beam, it did 15%, and with leftovers, Aromatisse is back up to 23%. This is a crucial turn in the game. I say to myself, well, he is 100% going to Wish here. My only chance of winning now is to freeze this Aromatisse with my Choice Scarf, Claydol, Landmine. So, if he gets this Wish up, then the game is officially over, and I would have just quit right then and there. But I get the freeze. Thank you, Arceus. And so there's a freeze, and he clicks Protect to try to unthaw himself, and, you know, Protect is faster than Scarf. And so he stays frozen, and that thing is gone. It would have completely walled the rest of my team. And so now here is a Nidoqueen, and this is a Choice Scarf Nidoking. However, my Claydol is faster, and so I click Ice Beam here, and I freeze it too. Okay, that was particularly lucky of me. So I click Ice Beam on her again, and Ice Beam back, which does a lot of damage, and I get to knock out that. So now I have the upper hand. I have 3 Pokemon to 2. And I'm scarfed into Ice Beam. He waits, and here's a Gligar. I click Ice Beam, and it does not kill, but Knock Off kills Landmine, and there goes the Choice Scarf. And that is probably good game, because, okay, now Whitney has the Ice Punch here, and I click it, and I know it just roosted, but 14%, that was less than half of what I expected. Obviously, this is a very, very bulky Gligar in order to take on the Dusk Lycanroc. And so Ice Punch is still doing nothing, while Toxic is whittling me down, so I switch into Mega Love Disc here. I think he roosts again. Yeah, he roosts again. I could have clicked Milk Drink, it's true. But now, at this point, I'm actually going to take this up to fast speed, because I'm basically playing defensive here while he just plays offense. And there's a Scald. I do get the burn, and as long as Gligar is burned, it will never be at full health, because Gligar is at full health, or is not at full health ever. It can keep spamming Roost, and Ice Punch is never going to hurt enough in order to kill. And so that is essentially the game. Hammer wins 2-0. And honestly, Gligar just wins here. However, he does not win with Gligar. He does go into this guy, and he just has to Drain Punch to win. He just Drain Punches to victory at this point. It's going to take a couple more turns for this to happen, but it is inevitable. I try to hang on for as long as I can, trying to Regenerator and Wish to keep my Pokemon healthy, even with the toxic damage racking up. Hammer's Pokemon cannot be toxic, so Mega Love Disc's toxic is useless, and it cannot be Scald Burned. And that is the game, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching, and congratulations, Hammer, for advancing in the playoffs. I felt like I brought a pretty good team. I made a few miscalculations which cost me both Heliolisk and Winona. If I had those Pokemon back, then this would have been a much different game. Heliolisk would be able to surf on Gligar, and, you know, that would have been a good time. And Heliolisk would be faster than, what is this thing called? Mienshao. And so, yeah, just a few things, you know, if I saved Claydol, if I switched Claydol out from Gligar, then I could have won. I possibly could have won. Like, I'd have to, I would have to weaken Gligar a bit, and then whenever something goes down, then Claydol comes in and spams Ice Beam. Then I possibly could have won. But yeah, I felt that I played alright anyway. Hammer played well. He forgot that Miltank has Sap Sipper, but, you know, it happens to all of us. And so, yeah, that's the battle. I am out of the playoffs, and I can't wait for another season of the IDL. I will have a battle for you guys. I will be showing you the finals. I'll be commentating on the finals. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, then like this video, comment on this video, share it with your friends, and click subscribe if you haven't already. And on that note, guys, I will see you all later. Peace.